Welcome to the Patriot Hour for Tuesday, October 30th, 2018. I'm Michael, your host. We got an interesting episode tonight here. We got Ben with us in the studio. Stick around and we're going to get right into it. All right, we got Ben in the studio.
Yes. Good to be back here. Super excited.
All right, folks, we got a interesting, we're just going to kind of talk a little bit, but we definitely wanted to address where's Q, right? Where is...
We were talking about that definitely in the garage talk.
Yes, we were. We were talking about Q, people kind of in the comments wondering, is he gone? Is it blah, blah, blah? Where's he at? Folks, sometimes in military ops, you get the quiet phase, the
Gotta
regroup.
go dark sometimes. Gotta go dark.
Yep. Exactly. So, sometimes you're not going to get a real cozy out either if it is over. You're not going to get the, you might get that final, great job well done. Pat yourself on the back,
Well, I know another thing we were talking about is the fact that this isn't the first time that we're looking at the Q board, looking for crumbs, doing some research, and there's been nothing on the board for a couple days, couple of weeks. So I know that some of we read you guys' comments. Even in Garage Talk, Mike and I were like, well, this is not the end. Is Q gone? Oh my gosh, what's happening? No. What we've been talking about is so much. It's a copious amount of mountains of people over here and people over here and some in the middle and some on top. We've got human trafficking. We've got crimes against children. We've got Clinton, Obama, all them crazy people. And we have foreign deals. We have the wall. All this kind of stuff. And so it's like there's too much happening for Q to just drop off 100% completely and fall off and that's it. And you would also think, logically speaking, there has been posts that we've talked about where Q has said the end is near, like the end of this is coming to the final end. He's done the touchdown, coming down, tray tables up in their fixed upright position, the plane's coming down for landing.
Yes.
And you'd think he would say something more, or the group is more eloquent, like job well done, like you said. And so it's like, for sure.
Well, that's just people's own personal agenda coming in and their own wishful thinking and all the movies they've seen and all the books and what they would like to happen and what sounds good and what makes them feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. But that's not how it works sometimes, folks. We got it all. We've been told this. We have everything. Certain things you have to go all the way back to April, make sense of them now. It's like if you were to get to know everything and it just has to get dumped all at once, you have to kind of make sense of it, and that takes time, and that takes time for things to unwind down the road, which we're into now, and we still have to go way back. Some people get really upset following all this and like, we want something new from Q and none of this old stuff that's just unfolding this week or something. It's just a real boggles my mind.
And you figure,
but again, we're former military, so we kind of get it a little bit, I think.
We understand how military ops work. They're there are little quick hot missions you go on. They're a week long or so. You come back and dust your boots off, and you have a little week of R&R. Some missions are a little bit longer.
That's right.
With that being said, a lot of these guys who these operators who serve in special operations units, these guys are amazing heroes, and what they do is just, we give 100% props to these guys and these gals who are doing this stuff, because it's not your typical paper pushing job, if you will, in the military.
No,
it's not one
exactly. And again,
So,
folks, even if you look at missions and wars, not just spec op the longevity of how they've been played out. Sometimes, yes, they're orchestrated to last forever or for many, many years. But sometimes just even to get the job done right, if it's legit, is going to take months or years or, just depending on the complexity of the situation and what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
If you're
Think
trying to
about
take down
this, you guys.
evil,
Yeah, that's a pretty big scope.
pretty
You're not
big
really.
gap.
Yeah, that's not really dialed in. And you think about it, hasn't been a few days, just over a year that Q's been feeding us breadcrumbs throughout this last year. So it's been over a year by a
Yeah.
couple of days.
The very
So-
first post was October 27th, folks.
And it's very interesting. So I mean, understand.
For 28th.
28th. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're just a couple of days, and so we definitely know that. Look at coming down the pike. We know that very soon. I mean, we got almost about a week. We have 1 week until midterms. This is huge, you guys. So, the calm's going dark for a little while. 6 days, 7 days before midterms. There's some heavy stuff. I mean, think about what these other people who don't want freedom and sovereignty of the United States, look what they're doing. They're bringing people from all over, pushing them through. I mean, it was like we were on the Patriots Hour Facebook, and you sent me one of these pictures of 10,000 plus people coming, and they're coming, and they're going 2,000 miles. And I'm looking, they're mostly men, mostly well-fed, well-dressed. How do you walk 2,000 miles? And, it's just very interesting. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now. I mean,
Well, like I said, you look at that, folks, and we talked about this on the last one I had with Scott, but it's very easy. The news likes to show you things, whether and reteach you, so it's like, here's these people marching towards our border, 10,000 strong. And when they get there, they're just going to be throwing fists to get over. I mean, it's
exactly.
You can look at it one way, and the media can tell you the whole time, oh, we got some crews down there, and they've been chit-chatting with them, and, and then Trump today talks about getting rid of, illegals that are here, and then they have a baby, that baby's automatically granted, and that's like put into our 14th Amendment. Here he is talking about maybe changing that. Maybe we need to change it. And, some of the media's, 20, what is it? CBS and NBC and all these
NPR,
channels.
I mean, all these people, outlets.
They were putting out there like, Trump's talking, this is law, and acting like he's just talking about maybe that's something that we want to look at and change. That's how the 14th Amendment got there, is because people demanded change. So you can also, that's the correct way. For the media to incite everyone here and say, they're telling people it's okay to break the law and showing it like it's a basketball game, and if you're against it, you're racist, you're all these things, but they push that these people, they're just hungry and they want work, but they're breaking the law. And when Trump talks about a law that's there and maybe we should change it, that's totally,
you bring up an interesting point, because it's almost like, can't one person get charged with a crime of, let's say, inciting a riot or inciting a hate crime? Sedition, right? But doesn't the news do it to us almost on a daily basis? And it's okay. You get people like Don Lemon and these other people who say
they put headlines that are like,
oh my gosh,
something that's abiding of the law, like that's wrong. They have the headline of like, Trump's talking about maybe people want to change the 14th Amendment. That's the correct way. Instead of inviting people and then playing on the people that watch your channel to tell them that they're ignorant and stupid if you don't allow these people to come, and this is a caravan, and if somebody's like, that's an invasion, you have the media saying that's a caravan of people coming. You have the president who has military around him, and they're saying it's an invasion. And the media is saying the president and the military are fools. We know what this is.
Who do you want to believe? The people who are charged to protect us, or the
Think
people
about
who
that,
are charged
folks.
to give us the news?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to really ingest that. I mean, these people, Mike and I, we laugh.
That's
at it.
why
Don't-
this
don't get it
show,
wrong.
we started it just to talk to you guys like we're doing, and we have had nothing but yellow banning, shadow banning. I say yellow because on YouTube everything goes yellow, and
Yeah. Like,
we're
warning,
wrong.
there's something
This is a
wrong.
joke, but they will promote and play the heck out of pedophilia videos by comedians and all their jokes,
gosh.
and that's fine, and videos of heads being blown off, and that's fine. But us talking here and
Well, that's another something
put
that
that
kind
into
of,
your categories of yeah.
Okay, so put that into your brain pen and stir it around for the fact that, what are we doing? We're trying to talk about the light. So we're telling you that here on this particular platform, YouTube, because we all know this is the largest platform on Earth that
Comes
does this type of
embedded
format,
into
which
every
is-
device that you
everything
get, and
is.
it's-
Exactly. So they'll promote the darkness and the videos that promote dark and evil things.
They
But videos
promote
that
'em, put 'em
promote
on a
you to
pedestal.
think for yourself,
Yeah.
they'll promote them. The algorithm, I'm
The
pretty sure
algorithm
they-
works its best. The algorithms work its best when you
Yes,
input
yes.
dark crap that
Yes.
will keep you,
And so you get-
and they love it. It's,
But here we are telling you to, for one, first and foremost, don't believe it we say for a fact. Go out, stop it, go research it yourself, connect the dots for yourself. That's like one of the first things that we get across. And then yet, somehow we're fighting like weird things. I mean, it's interesting the fact that, we're just trying to get the information out to you. I mean, Mike and I have said this many times that it's a blessing, the fact that you guys have been around and you've kept up and supported the Patriot Hour and the team. I mean, we're all super amazed. And the fact that I only see this as a blessing because, Mike and I, we do a lot of garage talking about, research, R&D. That's what we do, and, is Q gone? Is this gone? And we say, you know what? You stop and think about what is the benefits this last year of your life since you've been kind of following the breadcrumbs and I've been kind of following, we've been kind of banging together and this channel's gotten started.
yeah, we have said this
all
time and time again
wow,
that
it's all blessings.
it's just a blessing. The whole thing, folks. It's brought people together. You've researched more. If everyone's like, "Oh, this is a LARP," and you've been tricked, into reading a bunch of articles that are put out there, that because we know that there's truth. It's, in every haystack, there's going to be a couple of straw hairs that are truth.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, in the Intel game, you have to read a lot of garbage to sift through it, and basically you're chewing the meat, but you got to spit out the bone, and you got to be able to make sense of it. And that's all we've been trying to do, all we've been trying to show you, help you, and that's not a bad thing at all. I missed a lot of my TV shows and football, and I am upset with where this took me.
What Mike and I always been talking about, and we've said this many times, it really boils down to critical thinking. And even when we were going to college and when university where we met at and whatnot, very few people would critically think about the world around them or the environment that they're in. Normally, they would just focus on the particular subject of academia or the steady plan that they were forced to be in, with their little blinders. And one of the things that always perplexed me in all the years that, going to college and whatnot, is that nobody ever would be able to stop and critically think about the information being presented. And we know from multiple occasions that, it's a mark of an intelligent individual to entertain a thought, but not believe it. I mean, that's the whole thing about dialogue and discourse and how people and thoughts come across one another, and it's like Mike and I don't agree on some things, and some things we wholeheartedly agree on. I mean, there's things that hey, I found this out. Well, I don't know. And you said that like, you mean personally, like I do that, or do other people? Well, you got to bounce things. And when you bounce ideas and things off of somebody else that you can trust, and you have that individual, well, it's bouncing. It kind of, there's a little bit of friction there to bounce whatever ideas coming off of it. And so to critically think is a very, very important thing in everything you do, not just about what we're talking about. It's finances, about everything. I mean, we were also talking about, on a side note, the Fed just raised increased the interest rate to 2% because the economy is doing so well, the GDP is so high that they're gonna have to, like a horse, and put them reins and hold it on back a bit, because this just, we're making too much money. The economy's going too fast and too forward. I think
Yeah.
we were saying, yeah, if it goes too much, the economy could explode. But if you pull back too hard, the economy could implode. It's this garbage in, garbage out that people don't quite stop that process.
All right. I wanted to read just a few here. This one, 6:59, folks. This came on
Nice.
January 31st of 2018. Effective yesterday, while standing under the Statue of Freedom, POTUS freed those good people who were currently being blackmailed, threatened, and enslaved. Those who stood chanting USA were freed. The shot heard around the world. TG with an arrow out, like Trey Gowdy. This was his out. Pablo, the arrow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We the people, Freedom Day, light, Q. So there's just a couple examples
Yes.
of what we've gotten in the last year now, a year and a couple of days. It's just interesting, this whole last year, like we've said, it's I'll never, even if we hear from Q here again soon or we don't, we'll never forget this time, this year, this slot, this investigative
chapter,
journey,
for sure.
chapter
Oh my
of our
gosh,
lives.
man. What a crazy ride.
Very crazy, folks. And we're still deciding what is it? Are we coming up here after the midterms? Was this everything to get it to be organically vote in, learn the truth, vote based off a lot of facts and research, and I mean, I don't know.
Well, even somebody, because we've got people in our lives that don't follow a spec of Q, don't really know much about political stuff, or don't really care to, honestly. But you can ask
Some
them
people
who
take great pride in that.
Some people do that. But, and that being said, everybody you ask knows a little bit about Podesta. They all know about some of the dirty deeds that crooked Hillary did.
Hillary, yeah.
I mean, you can have the person who has nothing to do with politics or even aware, never voted or anything, and has heard something to do with, wasn't it like a Pizzagate thing, or like kids involved, something crazy? And it's interesting for the fact that, there's enough of us who are trying to promote the truth, or at least promote people to start looking around themselves and to look at what's actually out there. Because like you said, man, we've got it all. It's all open source now.
What we've always talked about, and to wrap this one up, we're getting to the 18-minute mark, folks. We're gonna come back. We're gonna do a little garage talk. We're gonna have a part 2 to this, and we're gonna horn in.
Sure.
We want to talk a little bit. I know I did about the border a little more in the caravan, so we're gonna come back and do that. But what drew us to Q, other than it work, things pointing and just the research factor, and then things kind of coming to light, that all makes sense. That's great. But the early on drops, all the Luciferian and all that's stuff that we've researched well before Q and known to be true. So we always said, if it ever had come out that there was some issue, Q is a LARP or just a group, that's one thing. But the information, it's just there's a couple different angles to look at that. So not that we're trying to get into that whole conversation. We're just saying here, folks, don't regret anything in this last year on your own behalf of the research, the
Yeah.
things that you've learned. That's the Great Awakening right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, give Ben here a little closing thoughts on this
Yeah,
episode,
no,
and
I would agree, man. Yeah, that's in this last year, and like where's Q in this last year in review or whatnot, for sure, man. I mean, I think this channel's been a blessing, to you and I, and obviously to all of the subscribers and the comments. It's like you guys are really awesome. So for the fact that we're able to do this and this year in review, it's been a huge experience. Definitely learning about a lot of different things. I mean, and Mike and I have talked many times in Garage Talk. It's like how blessed we feel to be able to have this platform and be able to do this. And I just say, yeah, it's just awesome. Definitely a lot of Garage Talk. We're going to come back for sure. This is going to be definitely another episode we got to do because there's a little bit more we want to get into for you guys.
all right, that was Ben. Yeah, folks, we totally blessed for the last year here. We are new to this. It's been a learning experience. I've learned tons, and it's just been a great honor to build up a channel of Patriots and go over and look at everything that we've looked at together, and dove into some very dark areas, and we've done it together, and we learned a lot. So we can never forget that. We'll never forget that, and that is a chapter in all of our lives. So as we close this episode down and get ready for the next one, let's keep that in mind, that you guys have done the work, we've done the work, and nothing to be ashamed of there. I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you worldwide, and we'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour.